Hello, everyone. For this, I'm going to be doing a brief tutorial on the event management in engageGettysburg. And so you're going to utilize this after you've already put in your event in 25 Live and received confirmation that your event has been approved and scheduled. Once that has happened, you're going to try and find the group that you scheduled it under. And so for me, that is the Office of Student Activities and Greek Life. And once you get over here to the behind the scenes, you're either going to navigate to the icon on this main page. It might be under recently if you've recently accessed it, or it might be down here under more. If you don't want to keep scrolling, you can also just go over here to the sidebar, find events, and click on it there. If you have just received confirmation that your event was approved, it may not be reflecting in engageGettysburg yet. It does take about 30 minutes to an hour to move from 25 Live over to engageGettysburg. So if you don't see it on this end, please do just give it a couple more minutes. And then after that, get in touch with either myself or the campus scheduler, and we can figure it out if it has been, many hours and it's still not showing up. The other piece to recognize with this is you do have to be an officer to edit your events. So make sure you are an officer in your student organization or your department, so that way you can edit the events on your office or your organization's behalf. Once you find the event that you're looking to edit, you're just going to go over here to the little pencil mark that says edit and click on that. And you're going to be led to this behind the scenes editable platform and section of your event. And so you're going to notice that there are some things that are locked and they're kind of gray in color and they have a little key next to them. Those are the features that you cannot edit in engageGettysburg. Those can only be done in 25 Live. And so do make sure your event is accurate when you're submitting it originally. But if you absolutely need to change anything, do get in touch with the campus scheduler because they will be able to help you edit those features. Your description is going to come across as blank, or it may mirror the name of the event. So I did come in here and I did change the description already. And so that is why you're seeing this test of the event management in engageGettysburg. Do add a description. If it is a private event that is maybe an executive board meeting or staff meeting, and it is only open to your group members and it's not showing on the public calendar, it's not fully necessary to come in and put a description because you're not going to need to give any more description about exec board meeting. But if this is a publicly facing event, a large scale, something that's on the campus calendar and is visible to everyone, then you will likely want to add a description so that people know what your event is about. Once you've done that, you can scroll down to the organizing team, and it's going to default to whoever put the space reservation in. Unless that person is not an officer in your group. But in that case, it would default to whoever the main officer is in your group. If you put the space reservation in, but you're not necessarily the point of contact for this event, you can always change this, and it's going to give you a drop-down menu with the other officers in your group, and you can select one of them instead. You can also add team members. So anybody you've been working really closely with on this event, you might want to add as a team member. All of our faculty, staff, and students are in the platform, so you can pretty easily find them just by starting to type their name. And you'll see them pop up, click on them, and then you just have to X out of that. And you'll now see their little icon right next to team members. The event coordinator and the team members have slightly different levels of access to your event. So the event coordinator, for example, can check anybody into your event via laptop or desktop computer. Team members can only check people in via the mobile app. So that's just a little nuance to keep in mind as you're selecting who your event coordinator and your team members are going to be. You can also select how you want attendees to contact you. So if somebody has a question before the event happens, they might want to reach out to you. And so you can either start a group chat with the organizing team, which will include both the event coordinator and the team members, or you can just have them send an email to the event coordinator. If you find that you're on Engage Gettysburg a lot, or if you want more people available to answer any questions, you probably would want to go with the group chat. If you find that you're not really on the platform, but there's only one person that they should really be reaching out to, that might be where you go the email route. Again, when it happens is going to be completely locked, so you don't need to worry about that. And where will be locked as well. So if it's a physical location, I cannot edit this. But if I did want this to be a hybrid event, I can add a meeting link. And so if I have a Zoom link, for example, I would just put it right in here. And when the event shows up on the calendar, it'll have a little icon that looks like a little camera that says Zoom next to it. If you don't have a link pre-made, but you would like your event to be hybrid, you can also create the conferencing link right in this platform. So you would just click on this, choose which video conferencing platform you would like to use, and then it will generate a link for you. As we move down further, we'll see our photo and flyer. So the photo, if you have a banner for your group or your department already set up, it will automatically default to whatever that banner is. If you don't have one of those set up, it will default to one that says Gettysburg College. But if you would like to make your event a little bit more unique, and maybe you have a particular picture in mind that would represent this event, you can either upload it or you can look at the photo gallery that they have. So any photos you have previously might be in here. And so I'll just use Penn Hall for this. But you can also look through their photo gallery to choose any that might be applicable. You can also go in here and upload a flyer. And so again, you can either choose from the photo gallery or you can choose a photo that you upload from your computer. And once you do that, it's going to let you crop it however you'd like to, tint it, all of that stuff, or you can just leave it how it is. And you just click on save, and then you'll see them reflected over here. So this is going to be a little icon that shows up next to the event when it's looking, outward. This is going to be, once you click on the event, just some more information that mirrors kind of what you already have in the event itself. You can look to include a couple more details if you would like to, but you don't necessarily have to. And then you're going to look at the access and display options. So depending on your event, it is either going to default to everyone or default to Gettysburg College campus groups users only. So everyone truly means everyone in the world, including external users, parents, alumni, the general public, et cetera, et cetera. Gettysburg College campus groups users are any current faculty, staff, and students. You can get a little bit more nuanced with some of these features. And so you'll see some of them are blue with a line under it to link it. If you click on these, it'll give you drop down where you can choose what kind of accounts you want. So if I wanted this to be only first year students are allowed to register, I could come in here and I could click on student and I could click on 2025. And now only students that are in the class of 2025 can register for this event. The really big thing to remember with this is the and is truly an and. So if you selected faculty and you accidentally clicked on 2025, it's only going to show you faculty members who are in the class of 2025, of which there are none. So then no one would be able to register for your event. So just be very mindful about that when playing with this feature specifically. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to make it allowed to the Gettysburg College campus groups users only. You can also change it to who can see this event. So if I'm okay with everyone in the world seeing the event, but only the people who actually go here or are currently affiliated with the college to register, I can set up those parameters here. If it is a private event, it's automatically going to default to only group members who can see it. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can also change it to say just the people who are allowed to register. So if I did move forward with the parameter that only students in class of 2025 were allowed to register, I could make it only visible to those people as well. Registration options are automatically going to default to yes, you will allow people to register for this event, and it's going to give the option as RSVP. So that might not necessarily be what you're looking for with your event. This might be an event where you truly don't want people to register, in which case you would just come in here and click no. Or if you want them to register, but you want them to register at a different place and not in this platform, you would just add the link to that website so that way they could complete their registration elsewhere. If you do want people to register in the platform, you can keep it as just RSVP, or you can even go in here and edit it so that it makes a little bit more sense for what you're trying to do. And so if this is an event where I have, let's say, 2 seatings, I might say seating 1, and maybe I'm putting that from 3 o'clock to 3:30 since I have a relatively short event. And so that's kind of the parameters I'm setting for this one registration option. I don't want to charge anything. I want it to be free. If you do want to charge for something, please do get in touch with me, Paige Cook, and we can talk through some of those nuances a little bit more in depth. But for the sake of this tutorial, we'll just say it's free. I have, let's say, 10 spots available at the first seating. So that is going to be my quantity available. I will allow a wait list just in case somebody drops out and, we want somebody else to join. This wait list promotion timeout is the amount of time that you're giving them to claim their spot. So if, that 10th person no longer can make it, the first person from the wait list wants to join, they have 24 hours automatically to claim that ticket. If I want to give them a little less time, I would just come in here and say, yeah, 6 hours is enough to claim that spot. And so that's just kind of what this waiting list feature is. For the minimum per order and the maximum per order, if you are okay with a student claiming multiple spots or tickets or whoever's registering for this event claiming multiple, this is where you would set that up. So, maybe you'll want one person to be able to get 2 tickets to the event. You could put in here that the minimum per order is 1 and the maximum per order is 2. If you truly want that one person can claim 1 ticket for just themselves, you're just going to put it as 1 and 1. And so that's what I'm going to do for the sake of this. For the sales start date, you can set that up if you have a specific time and frame where you're going to be selling tickets or registering for this event. And so I might set that as today, and I'm going to end the sale tomorrow at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. If you have a cancellation deadline or a refund deadline, you can add those here, but I'm not too worried about that. So I'm not really going to pay attention to the rest of this. I'm going to just say save. And then you're going to see that my seating 3 o'clock to 3:30 is now visible. Here's when people can register for it. Here's how many tickets there are in total. And then it'll even tell you how many are sold and how many are on the waiting list if people have already started to register. You can also add another option. So let's call this one seating 2, and we'll do it from 3:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. And same thing, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to say 0 is the cost. I have 10 tickets available. I will allow that for 6 hours. Maximum, minimum per order are going to be 1. And I might have the same parameters for the registration time frame. And so I would just mirror those same things. And again, save. And now we'll see that there as well. You can add as many options as you'd like. You can, again, edit these registration starts and ends within the individual options for registration. If I didn't set up those parameters because they're all exactly the same, I don't necessarily need to. So I could have just put seating 1 and seating 2, left the registration for the individual things blank, and used it here. So these features down below the registration options are for the overarching event. And so I could click on this and say that it opened this morning at 8 a.m. and that it closes tomorrow at 12 p.m. And that's going to be applied to all of my registration options. And so that's something to keep in mind. If you don't want to build out these individual ones, you can just kind of do an overarching one here. If my options up here were maybe an early bird registration and then a regular registration, I might set the parameters that early bird registration was open today through tomorrow, but then after tomorrow, it was regular registration until the end of the week. And I would then make this registration down here open still today, but open until the end of the week as the overarching registration for the entire event, even though the options I've built out would be more nuanced. The same thing for the attendance limit. So right now I have 10 tickets available for each of my seatings. If I didn't necessarily want to build it out that way, or if I did lean into that early bird registration option and I had 20 tickets available in total, if only 5 were sold during early bird registration, those other 15 would be available within that 20 that I've kind of set up. And so my attendance limit might be 20 for the total event. And then again, that tickets limit. I only want one person to get one ticket. If you don't care about that and you want them to get more than that, again, maximum number of tickets per attendee. You can play around with some of these other features, but you don't need to enable them if you don't want to. So the reminder is automatically set to not remind people because we don't want to over inundate people with emails. But if you did want to remind people, you could come in here, you could click this off, and whatever time frame, 1 day to 7 days before the event, you could remind somebody that they've registered. And you can go with the default, we look forward to seeing you then, or you can say, as a reminder, you've signed up for this event, make sure you bring a pen and a pencil, so on and so forth. You can also edit your personalized email confirmation. So if they do register, again, it can say your event registration was successful. It can give a little bit more details. So you can edit all of that within there. Display the list of attendees too will always default to logged on users only. If you want to preserve the anonymity of the people who will be attending your event, you can also come in here and say nobody. And so you'll still be able to see it as an officer and the organizer of the event, but anybody else using the platform won't be able to. And then on the opposite side of things, you could make it visible to everyone, which again is truly everyone in the world. You can add a ticket here. You can do the feedback request, which is similar to the reminder in which it is not automatically going to send out because again, we don't want to over inundate people. If you really do want feedback on your event, or you might have a survey to follow up with, you could come in here and again, click it off so that it does send the feedback request. And this goes on hours instead of days. So maybe 2 hours after my event is over, I do want all of the people who registered for the event to get a form or survey that I've built, or I might even direct them to an external place. So in this custom content, you put a survey monkey, you could do that, or you could build that survey and form within the platform, which there will be another tutorial for. In advanced options, you're not going to necessarily use too many of these features often, but if you are having, let's say, a panel or an invited speaker come for an event, you might want to come down to this speakers option and add a speaker here. You can, I created a profile for myself, but you can create a speaker profile, including their first name, last name, what their role is. You know, are they a panelist? Are they, a keynote speaker, so on and so forth. You can upload a picture of that person. If this is an alumni or a parent or, a prominent member of the community coming in and doing a presentation, you could put who they work for. Are they the, CEO? Are they the social media manager? Like so on and so forth. In that, how to contact them, and include a little bio there. You can save that. So if it's somebody who will be a panelist often or works with your office pretty closely or your student organization pretty closely, it does save their profile. So you don't have to add them or recreate it every individual time. It'll just already be there. You can also do the same thing for sponsors. If you have an event where you would like to add who's sponsoring it, you can do that here. The main one you're probably going to use in all of these advanced features, advanced options, is going to be the co-host this event. So normally or in the past where you would normally indicate who else was co-sponsoring your event in 25 Live, that is no longer in 25 Live. It is in Engage Gettysburg. And so you do need to come down all the way down to the end of your event to press on co-host this event. And any student organization, academic department, athletic team, residence life house, et cetera, is in here. So just make sure you are clicking on it. These do collapse and they do expand. And so it makes it a little bit easier to find who you're looking for. But if for whatever reason, I wanted to co-host my test event with a couple different people, I would just come in here and I would say, oh, I'm going to co-host this with the economics department. And I would just click off on them. And then if that's the last thing that I need to change with my event, I would just save it here at the bottom. It is okay to save it often, just in case something happens and the internet just loses connection or anything like that. You can save it multiple times. You can go back and edit it multiple times. And if I were to save it after editing all of those different things, when I see the event, I can preview my event. It's going to give me this little box that says that, and you'll see that little icon photo that I added here. Now you'll see all of those different things, my registration options. And then here's where my flyer would go. And it'll tell you where on campus it's happening, hosted by, and then you can see that co-hosted with economics. And so those are the main features you're going to use when editing your event. But if you do, again, have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me and we can work through them.